Hi everyone, I'm MaryAnn. I'm a visual artist and voice coach from Singapore, currently in Singapore, and welcome to day 44 of my 100-day vlog project. So this is a daily vlog series where I share what I've learned over this journey of making my dreams come true, of pursuing my passion, of finding what's a worthy and meaningful purpose to me in my life, and overall just living the best life that I can possibly live. And it's the same for you too, to do what really matters to you, find what's meaningful and worthy for you as a purpose, and to live the best life that only you can live. So if you have questions about any of these, or about the creative process and the artist journey, feel free to ask them in the comments, or you can directly message me through any of my social media links, which are in the write-ups attached to these videos. So the past couple of days I have been sharing about opportunities in our lives, and how even the obligations in our lives can be viewed as an opportunity. At the same time, there are little moments in our lives where we can create the opportunities that we really need, and ultimately it's about taking action and just making things happen for you. And this reminds me of something that I heard from an artist that I met last year during my third artist residency last year. So it was a residency in Sofia, Bulgaria, and I met this artist from Colombia, and she's the youngest artist that I've met so far in my journey of residencies. She was 20 years old, so this year she's 21. And something that she shared with me is that one day over breakfast, she shared with me that her dad always brought her up to see that nothing ever falls down from the sky and into your lap. Like, everything that you want in life, you have to go after it. You have to make it happen. You have to take action. Well, you get to take action. You get what I'm saying? Okay, so like, if there's something you really want, there's no waiting for it to magically fall into your lap, because that would never happen. Like, things don't just magically fall from the sky. And one of the things that she did before coming to this residency in Sofia was she basically researched like who are the art galleries in the city, and she wrote to them and reached out to them and see if she could have an exhibition with them. And one of them did get back to her and agreed to do a solo exhibition for her, but unfortunately they closed down a few days after she arrived in the city, so that didn't happen for her. But what I think is really admirable, and what really inspired me about her, was this mentality that she had of just asking. So she shared with me also, there's no harm in asking. There's no harm in asking, because the worst that can happen is they say no. And if they say no, it's not like we go backwards. Like, if let's say we're on a journey, right, and we're progressing, and you're here, like you're here now. Okay, let's say we're going this way, and you're here now, and the yes would take you here, right? And a lot of times, the reason why we don't dare to ask, and the reason why we don't dare to go for something that we really want, is because we think that when we get a no, that we go backwards. But really, when we get a no, we don't go backwards. We just stay where we're at. Like, if you get yes, yeah, you go forward. But if you get a no, you don't actually go backwards. You just stay put. So that really reframed it for me, because I started to see that, that makes so much sense, right? Because when we get rejected, when we ask for something and we get rejected, the worst that can happen is you're just in the same place. But if they say yes, then you get to move forward, and you get to move in a new direction, and you get a new opportunity, or a new window, or a new door opens, and and so on and so forth in your journey. But what I want to focus on is the fear of rejection. Like, for some reason we have this fear that when we get a no, that it goes backwards, and a lot of times it might seem that way, because I think what happens is, when we get rejected the first time, like, you put yourself out there, you take this huge risk, and you're hoping things will go your way, because of course when you take a risk, you're hoping things will go your way, and you get that yes. But the moment we get that no, it kind of shakes our whole world, or shakes our reality somehow. And then we it's very easy to tell ourselves that, I'm not going to ask again next time. And it's because of that decision that we make, that I'm not going to ask again next time, that actually makes it seem like we go backwards. But really, the reality is that you didn't go anywhere. You're still in the same place. And if you don't allow yourself to ask again someone else, or ask the same person again, maybe like months or years later, you would never know whether you could take that step forward. So this is something I really relate to, because when I first started applying for artist residencies, this was in 2018, I waited 5 years after my first solo exhibition to start applying for artist residencies, even though it was something that I had wanted to start doing a lot earlier. And the reason why I waited 5 years was because I was afraid that I wasn't good enough. I was afraid that as a new artist, because I hadn't done any drawing or art for 20 years before my first solo exhibition. So effectively I was still a very new artist, and I just kept telling myself, oh, I'm still really new, I haven't done much yet, I haven't established my career yet, I don't even know what kind of artist I want to be, so I shouldn't apply to artist residencies yet. And I kept telling myself that for 5 years, and I kept putting it off because I was so afraid that when I actually put together my application and submitted it, that when they said no, it would kind of reinforce to me that I really just wasn't good enough, and I didn't want to find that out. So a lot of times we stop ourselves because we're so worried that we would hear that no and hear that rejection, and it's like somehow in our twisted logic we equate that rejection with, oh, I'm not good enough, and then we don't even try. But again, the reality is that the worst that can happen when you put yourself out there is that you just stay in the same place. You don't actually go backwards unless you allow yourself to go backwards, and unless you create it such that you go backwards. So ultimately, again, I guess it comes back also to our reaction to rejection. Reaction to rejection. That has a nice ring to it. So if you're feeling that you have this aversion to rejection, and because of that you're worried about putting yourself out there or asking for opportunities, or asking for someone to work with you so that you have this new opportunity, maybe it's time to examine what that's really about and how is that really holding you back. So I think it really helps to see it in that very black and white framework, that yes means I go forward, no means I stay in the same place. And it's really not that bad. And after a while, when I started to apply for more artist residencies, I realized that the rejection isn't that bad, because one thing is that if they reject my proposal or my application, it could just be because it's not the right fit. That's one possibility. So it doesn't mean that my project isn't good or anything, it just means that it's not the right fit for them. Another thing is that maybe they just had too many quality applications and they couldn't accept everyone. And the other thing is that just by the act of applying for those residencies, just by the act of asking for that opportunity, that person, whoever that is, would actually know that you exist. Because if you never ask, they never ever know that you exist. But by you asking, even if it results in a rejection, they now know that you exist. And if you ask again the next time, they already would have this awareness of, yeah, this person has asked me before, and then maybe they get curious, maybe they start to see like, okay, what's this thing really about, because you've asked them before. The more you ask, the more we put ourselves out there to go for the opportunities and create the opportunities we want, the more we take that risk, and the risk of getting rejected. And the more we realize that no just means we stay put, yes means we go forward, but we will never know until we ask, then it becomes easier to deal with facing rejection, and it becomes easier to just go for the opportunities that you really want and create them and make things happen in your life. So if you liked today's video, subscribe to my YouTube channel or like my Facebook page wherever you are seeing this on. And feel free to ask your questions in the comments, or you can directly message me through any of my social media links, which are in the write-ups attached to these videos. And I'll see you tomorrow.